My Sebastian says, Violet, you're the most beautiful woman that ever did rain. Let's talk about Suddenly Last Summer. Now, this is by far the most deranged and twisted of the Tennessee Williams canon. Now, Suddenly Last Summer stars Elizabeth Taylor, Katherine Hepburn, and Montgomery Clift, and a wonderful, wonderful, very small appearance from Mercedes McCambridge. Now, you may be wondering, what is Suddenly Last Summer? Who is Tennessee Williams? Well, I'm going to tell you, okay? Tennessee Williams was a very, very, very celebrated playwright in the 1950s. He wrote very bizarre Southern Gothic plays that were perfect vehicles for women at that time. And Suddenly Last Summer was a one-act play. It was by far his most twisted and most bizarre and just flat out there plays that had ever gone. And so much so, like, the ending of this play is so shocking that they went through several drafts to be a film. They eventually settled on two screenwriters, Tennessee Williams himself and the famed gay author Gore Vidal penned the screenplay for this. And my God, they really, really got the best pacing for this because the play's kind of rambling and all over the place, but the film really cinches it down to like the bare essential things to really give the characters something to stew over and to seep into. Now, one thing I will say, this movie does not have a whole lot of action in it. It's a lot of standing around and talking, but you don't really notice it because the way that Tennessee Williams weaves language, you're going to be obsessed. Montgomery Clift is the protagonist we're following, and he is a doctor who specializes in the lobotomy. And he's like the top of his field. He's pioneering this surgery. The medical facility he's working out of is falling apart. The building is falling apart. The lights can't stay on. Like, it is not the proper conditions for him to be doing such a sensitive, delicate surgery. So he needs a donor and a donor fast. Well, Violet Venable, the wealthy widow of the town, gets word that he is pioneering the surgery and is very, very interested and wants to have a private meeting with him to discuss possibly funding the hospital if he can perform a procedure for her. He goes over to her house, this grandiose, melted Southern Gothic mansion that they built onto a beach. Like, this house didn't really exist. And the whole backyard garden, it was built onto a beach. And it was hot, it was uncomfortable, and all the actors hated it. But it was so effective because, like, everyone just looks so uncomfortable. And you're watching Katherine Hepburn, who was hit the ceiling when she saw herself in this film because she hated showing her hands. She hated the filters they were not using on her. Like, she looked decrepit. And she was just like, nothing she could do about this. Like, the film had already started shooting, so she just had to grin and bear it. But my God, Tennessee Williams and Katherine Hepburn, holy shit. Like, this is such an amazing pairing. The way she says these lines, like the way she lingers on certain affectations, I am obsessed.
He's babbling again, babbling and lying.
He left her home because you
stole him.
Lost her attractiveness.
And especially her grand entrance where she comes down from the elevator, descending from the heavens. Like, it is everything. And just the way she talks, it's very, very good. You know, I'm Katherine Hepburn. But Montgomery Clift is in this, and he is fresh off of his car accident where he was pulled to safety from Elizabeth Taylor. This is the film she begged to have him cast in so that he could start working again because nobody in Hollywood wanted to touch him. And the way he is acting is kind of interesting. Like, he was essentially learning all the dialogue and basically putting on a whole different kind of speaking voice where he doesn't sound like his normal self. Like, it's a whole character he invented for just this film. And it's very stunted, the way he talks. It's very short and to the point, almost like he's reading a book.
What does attractiveness have to do with the son and the mother?
It's so bizarre, but it's so effective and works really, really well because he sounds like such a brainy, just like constantly nose buried in a book kind of doctor. And he wants to know why Violet Venable wants to fund his research. And it turns out she has a niece who has recently gone insane, and she's in a hospital right now, and they're at their wits' end with her. They don't know what to do. So she thinks it'd be wonderful if they could perform the lobotomy operation on her and make her peaceful again. And immediately this is sending up red flags. Like, this is sounding a bit sus for him. So he insists that he has to go and meet this girl first, which she agrees to. But she assures him, don't listen to any nonsense she might tell you. She's completely insane. Like, she's a slut off her cracker, baby. And we learn more and more that the son Sebastian that Violet keeps talking about in such a way where it's almost like she's in love with him. The way, like, a bizarre kind of love, like a very inappropriate kind of love, like obsessive. And we learned that Sebastian has recently died, and we are not giving any clues as to how, like what happened to him, like how did he die? And she's being very, very cagey and will only say he had a heart attack. But of all the information we're getting, it doesn't quite sound like that's what happened. Our doctor goes to see Elizabeth Taylor in the mental institution, and I'm gonna say they tried to deglam her as much as possible. Elizabeth Taylor still looks gorgeous in this. Like, she is so glamorous. Even when she's supposed to be like off her rocker in the mental institution, she still looks so pretty. And the voice she has on for this, like, she's very, very southern. And, you know, don't you know, doctor, I'm crazy. I could attack you at any moment. Like, she's got such a fun sassiness to her that you're going to be obsessed with. And we learned that, like, Caroline, her niece, is not crazy. Like, she's far from crazy. So there's definitely something happening here, but certain occurrences keep happening while she's locked away in this institution, where all the evidence is pointing towards the girl is going nuts. And everyone is just inclined to believe that she must be nuts because they all want this donation from Violet. But the good doctor isn't quite sold just yet. Like, he still needs a lot more information. And when he finally gets her to open up a little bit, she suddenly shuts all the way down. And you can tell, like, she has a regressive memory that she does not want to remember. Like, there's a very nasty memory about what happened that day on the beach with Sebastian that she has locked away and caused her to have this nervous breakdown. And her family comes to visit her. And we come to find out that, like, Violet has seeped her way and slid her way into everybody's life, where she's essentially just, like, gotten her family to turn against her and say she should sign off these papers, agreeing to the lobotomy to make her more peaceful, because there's a huge payday at the end of it if she does. Like, they'll all get an early inheritance, and it could change their lives and put them in a higher standing in society that they've never had access to. And this terrifies Caroline because she realizes, like, oh my God, everyone in my family is out to get me. I have no allies here. They want to operate on me and give me a lobotomy. And a lobotomy at that point in that time was a very, very experimental procedure. And what happened to people is they weren't normal after. Like, you were stifled quite a bit, and it did affect your motor skills and the way you lived. Like, it was a very intrusive operation to have. And she knew this. Like, she gets first eye view of people who have had lobotomies in this institution and realizes, like, I don't want to become this. And it comes to the point where she almost jumps to her death out of fear that, like, I'm going to lose all my autonomy and I have no allies here. Like, my family is all turned against me. Well, the good doctor convinces her, like, hey, I haven't said I'm going to give you an operation just yet. I still need to hear what happened that day on the beach. You have to tell me. You have to remember. So he brings her back to the house to see Violet and all her family and finally sit down and discuss what exactly happened with her and Sebastian on that beach. We find out clues more and more that Sebastian wasn't the perfect person you think he was, and he certainly was not the nice guy that Violet keeps painting him out to be. In fact, we learned that Violet and Sebastian would go on trips all the time together, and suddenly last summer, he decided Violet should not come, and Caroline should accompany him instead. And because of this, Violet ends up having a stroke and experiencing a bit of a mental break herself by the rejection from her son. She can't bear to be away from her only child. And you're wondering, like, why all of a sudden would he not want Violet with him and insist on the younger Caroline? Well, Caroline has a confrontation with Violet where she lets it slip that he only wanted Caroline to come along with him because Violet was no longer useful to him.
Sebastian only needed you while you were still useful.
Useful.
I mean, young.
And she flat out says, he used us as bait. And you're wondering, like, what does she mean by that? And there's small, subtle clues that are given to you throughout the whole film, like, especially in the very beginning. If you're paying attention, you'll hear it. Violet mentions, like, we're always surrounded by the most beautiful people. All the most beautiful men in the town were always surrounding us. Me, Sebastian, and Violet, surrounded by beautiful people. Like, you hear subtleties about this, just like, okay. Like, Sebastian sounds a bit fancy, and lo and behold, it's exactly what you think it is. And just when things start to feel very, very obvious, Caroline is given her truth serum where she's delirious and she's finally starting to remember everything, and it all becomes a full picture. And let me just say this right now, I will not spoil it for you, but the ending is nothing that you suspect. Like, you hear all the information, you think, okay, he's just some gay guy that was using these girls. But it gets a lot uglier and a lot darker as soon as Elizabeth Taylor starts to remember more and more and more. And the ending of this film will shock you, just how Sebastian met his end. So I won't give anything away. It's available on Tubi. Be sure and watch it. It's a long one, but it's worth it. And it's some great acting and dialogue that you will not want to miss. By all means, go out and watch Suddenly Last Summer. It's right up there as one of the great and finest performances from Elizabeth Taylor, Katherine Hepburn, and Montgomery Clift. It's some of their finest work. It's a bizarre one and it's an obscure one, but you're not going to be disappointed. Watch Suddenly Last Summer. Now, let me know what your favorite moment from this film is. How did you feel when you watched this? I am obsessed with this. I have to say, when I first sat down and watched this, I was seated. Like, I was gripping my seat like, oh my God. Because I'm such a sucker for great performances, as well as really, really good dialogue. Like, even if it's just people standing in still in one room talking, if the dialogue is that damn good, I am seated for it. Let me know if there's any other old Hollywood movies you want me to talk about. I want to get more and more discussing classic Hollywood, and I'm glad we got a chance to do it here. Be sure and comment down below your favorite moments, and I'll see you all in the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye!
I came out looking nude.
Well, it's over now. Click my next YouTube video. Like, comment, and subscribe.